Oh, hey, y'all. Sorry about that. Um, what I wanted to talk to you about today is, well, as you can see from the title, I'm tired of feeding the algorithm. I'm tired of it. And then we've got these podcasters, the likes of Joy Reid and others, who get fired from MSNBC and these other CNNs and all that sort of thing. And they go out and they start their own podcast. And then they go, look, see how many people are following me, when I'm sure all they did to get a good feed up, because they know how to feed the algorithm, is take all those emails that they have collected through their various portals that they have, float them into Substack, and next thing you know, these emails are going out to all these people, and they look like subscribers and followers and all that sort of thing. And the algorithm goes, "Ooh, look how many they've got." Never once thinking that they got them overnight, which doesn't happen. I've been doing my I've been doing a Substack now. Gosh, uh, man, my Substack is about a couple of years old now. I think I'm gonna have to check that out. Um, but I've been doing podcasting since January of 2025 with the video stuff, and I never can quite seem to break 200 subscribers. I have very few paid subscribers. And yet I hear from people, they'll send me an email, they'll go, my God, that was great, because they heard about it somewhere, somebody shared it or whatever. But they're not willing to share it because it's not their job. It's not their job to share it. Although at the bottom you could see where I'm going. Oh, hang on one second. Let's get the Chiron there on the bottom to. Um, oh my gosh! You know what? I've got the wrong banner. Let me see if I can change that up. I want to hide that one. I simplified it. There we go. Like, share, subscribe. You won't be sorry. Email comments to Angela, and people do. Visit my publisher site. Oh my gosh! I have got to edit that. And the thing is that I swear, publisher site. There we go. Save it. Boom. And show. It takes a lot of work to put something like this together all by yourself. And yet I can't imagine uh, having somebody sitting here with me being my tech person. I just can't. Maybe I could get used to it, but I can't afford such as that until such time as I start making money. But here's the thing. For a long time, I've been seeing the algorithm being fed, because whoever wrote that algorithm and made the diet of that algorithm, if you will, they're idiots. They're stupid. They I know what their goal was. And so, as far as their goal is concerned, which is to get more people to hit on their site, because then they can make money. See, everybody sees our stuff. Buy an ad. Everybody's selling advertisement. Everybody's selling ad space, and yet the algorithm does not benefit the small guy. No matter where you get an ad, it just doesn't, because it goes by hits and a few other things that they have, like YouTube, hours watched, um, subscribers, this sort of thing within certain periods of time. Now, I just found out that YouTube let me just put it this way. I read a story. I could not find it on YouTube anywhere. And when I did a search for it on Google, it wasn't showing up. So, but they were saying sometime, I think it's July 25th of 2025, that the creator agreement for YouTube is going to change. They'll no longer allow AI generated content. They will no longer allow, let me see that. Oh, they will only allow original content. So what all that, how that language is written and how it will affect people, I don't know. For instance, on YouTube, you've got a lot of what's called reaction videos. Somebody will play a video of a scene in a movie or somebody singing a song, and then they'll be with themselves or their friends or relatives or marriage mate, and they'll be sitting there watching it, and somebody will click it part of the way through and say, huh, and they'll talk about it. Well, YouTube allows that sort of thing for the purposes of discussion. And so surely some of these people are making money, because I hear them say things about making money or hoping they don't get a copyright strike or things like that. But they're making money off of discussing somebody else's intellectual property. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, because it's not like it's entertaining me to watch the video, because they're stopping it and discussing all the time. But I may learn something. I may be able to interact with them because they're, what's the word? They're sharing a personal thought. And I may have the same thing. And maybe at the bottom, I might type in something if I was so inclined. But for the most part, the algorithm can be manipulated. And there's a lot of people manipulating it. Some are doing so to the tune of a lot of big bucks. I mean, dollar. And others with better content can't get anything because, you know, it's not being shared or it's not being seen. It's not coming up in the feed. So YouTube has a way where you can promote certain videos and you can choose a goal. You can choose more interactions. You can choose more subscribers, and you can choose more views. At least I think it's more interactions. But I know it's subscribers and views. And so to me, it's worth my money to every now and then pay a couple of $100 for a couple of weeks worth of them promoting my video up in the feed. In fact, one person clicked on my video, one of my videos, and she said, I'm assuming it's a she, it was an anonymous type name. It said, I'm not exactly sure why YouTube decided to show me this, but I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to watch it. And okay, that's fine. That's all I want is for people to watch. But in order to, there was one video I wanted to promote, and the title of it was, Is CBS the New Pravda? And this has been a few months ago. Well, I was not allowed to promote it through the portal at all. And the reason given was that, gosh, what was the reason? It's been so long ago, I forgot. Let me think about this. The reason given was that I was not allowed to promote political something or another. I forget that part. And I went, I'm not promoting anything political. I'm asking a question. Is CBS the new Pravda? Question mark. And let's talk about that. And let's review it. So the algorithm didn't see that, though. They went Pravda, political, not allowed to do that. So it made me wonder then, how is it that other people have even more political sounding things in their headlines and get away with it. I don't know. And it could be that I said, is CBS. And CBS was hot to trot in the news then, because of the Kamala Harris, the fallout from the Kamala Harris thing was coming to court or something like that. And I thought, I wonder if somebody inside YouTube or Google decided they were going to, if they saw CBS in a title somewhere, they would just not allow it to be promoted. And that's possible. They didn't take it down. It still plays, but I can't promote it unless I send it out a link via email to my email list, which I could do. But at the same time, you know how many emails I get every day from somebody wanting me to watch their podcast, listen to their podcast, read their big long column that I'm sure they worked hard on. I'm sure of it. But I already know what they're going to say because I've read so much of their stuff. I need somebody to be more logical and not so focused on one thing. I did another podcast earlier today that'll be scheduled out. And let's see, what was the title of that podcast? It was, The Nature of War and Why Soldiers Complain. There are some people that have such a focus on one item that what's the point of reading anything else that they have to say, because pretty much it's going to be a repeat, add a little extra stuff, something like that. I can't do that. I already know what they're going to say, so why am I clicking on them? Well, maybe there's a lot of people that do click on it, and that's fine. But I can't do that, and I'm not going to. And so if you'll see in the upper corner of the screen, it says the constrained view. That is the title of my podcast, of my Substack column, The Constrained View, because I deal with a lot of different things. I talk to a lot of different people. And there's a lot more going on out there than being covered. There's not a lot of people saying things like I say, like talking about Elon with his PTSD, like talking about people getting so focused on one thing that they ignore the more important things in the long run. There's not a lot of people talking about that. They're focused on getting the hits and getting somebody to pay attention now to what they're saying so that they can feed the algorithm. I don't like it. So to that end, talking about feeding the algorithm, I've purchased ads I've tried to purchase ads on Facebook. Facebook won't let me buy an ad. They won't. Been trying for several years. I get all the way down to whatever it is I get down to. I walk through their thing. I choose this. I choose that. I put my credit card in and nothing ever happens. I never even get charged for anything. I think one time, many, many years ago when I was first on Facebook, I was able to buy an ad campaign. Haven't ever been able to since. Don't know why. Don't know why, unless somebody somewhere put me in as somebody to, not do business with, and now the algorithm just thinks I'm persona non grata. I can post on Facebook a picture of food that I cooked, myself cooking, which is not where I make my money. This is just me having fun in the kitchen. I like to cook. And that picture within an hour will have 10, 20, 30 or more people. Boom, and it keeps getting showed. It keeps getting showed. But let me post a comment about God or the Bible or politics and how it's this, that, and the other is happening. It might be a month later, somebody might see it. It just doesn't get showed. So the algorithms, whoever's writing them, they're being misused, and I'm not going to feed them anymore. To that end, I had two X accounts. Well, they started out as Twitter, turned to X, and then I started paying for them because when Elon took it over, he was going to root out all the crap, the bad algorithmic stuff, and I understand that. I said, I want to support his effort to keep free speech open. At the same time, as a premium member of X, I still could not get any engagement in anything. Then I started hearing about other people who are on it all the time, engaging with other posters, engaging with content, who on their own accounts can't get anything. So I said, you know what? This has been going on quite some time now, and I'm not paying anymore. In fact, I am closing out my X accounts, not because I hate Elon Musk, not because I don't think Twitter has some interesting stuff. It does. But you notice that people, somehow, there's certain people that can get promoted. They go, look, I've joined X. And poof, they've got millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people. And yet they're not saying anything much. I'm tired of feeding this monster. So I'm canceling that out. Now, the only reason I'm staying with my X account, with my Facebook account, is because I do have a few friends that I can get in contact with occasionally, like as a group, although that is starting to be a problem too. But I've had it for quite a long time. See, let me think. When did I get my Facebook account? 2008? 2008? So that would be 18, about what, 15 years or 17 years, something like that. 15, 16, 17, 18, I don't know. Y'all do the math. But there's going to come a point where I'm not even going to have that anymore, and I'm only going to be on Substack, YouTube, and Rumble. And I'm working on that now. So I've got to let people know, if you're wanting to get a hold of me, here's my number, here's my email. A lot of people already have that because that's good. I know people, and that's good. But I can come off X and Facebook. I'm not on Instagram, although when Instagram first came out, you could be on your computer and join Instagram and post. And then they stopped that and went completely to the phone. I don't have any social media on my phone, and I'm not going to. I did for a while. I used to have Twitter. I used to have Facebook. I used to have Nextdoor.com. I used to have LinkedIn. Don't have any of those anymore. Don't have any of those on my phone. Oh my gosh, I have so much more free time now because I'm not feeding that algorithm. And they're not following me around town. They can't, because why? My computer is in my office. See, right here. I'm in one spot. The only way they can follow me around is through Google or something like that with a search, which, okay, fine. I don't care. There it is. But these people make most of their money, these tech companies like this, social media companies make most of their money from following you around because it's on your phone. I am not feeding the algorithm anymore. So if you like me or don't, if you want to listen and not pay, that's fine. This is not what I rely on to pay the bills. Never has been, never will be. And I'm not going to treat it as that. That's why, let me tell you what I've noticed. I'm not going to mention a name. I'm not going to mention a name because honestly, he's not the only one. But there's somebody on YouTube. I like to watch YouTube on my television, my smart TV, because it's a bigger, I've got a sound bar. I can bump the sound up and I hear it so much better than sitting here at my computer with earbuds and listening. But this guy, he was having some really good stuff and it was timely and he was plugged into the financial world. And so he knew this, that, and the other. And he had inside connections and he was getting a lot of really good stuff. And then suddenly I started seeing the picture that shows up with the video. Started having these, it looked like AI generated groups of things together. And headlines in that picture that would say something that is bound to get me to go, whoa, really? And then I click on the video and I'm watching this and there is nothing in that video that even comes close to what that little bar up above in the picture said. Nothing. I said, okay, that's one time. And then I found it was getting regular and there's a lot of people who are doing that with their videos. So when YouTube says they're coming out with the new creator user agreement and it won't allow AI generated content, it'll only allow original content, I thought, great. Let me see if I can find that user agreement. Well, they're probably not going to show anything about it until I think the article said July 25th, 2025. So I might not even be presented with it. But I've not had AI content now that isn't generated by me, and that is using an app where I may film myself with a funny face and change my voice up. That is a different thing altogether than telling an AI program to generate a thing and then not following up to make sure it's all correct. You can't do that. So I'm glad that they're, if this is true, and I certainly hope it is, that they are not going to allow any more AI content, that they're only going to allow original content and nothing that's repurposed or whatever. There were some interesting little tidbits in this article. So let's hope that that happens. Let's hope that that happens because YouTube is run over with people who are gaming the algorithm. And they're doing that to keep the voices of the authentic, genuine voices down. The algorithm sees, oh, engagement, 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 engagement. And so they just keep pushing this stuff up to the top in your home feed. I've even unsubscribed from channels and I still get their stuff to show. So I can't figure that out either. It's really aggravating to no end. But I'm tired of feeding the algorithms, y'all. I'm tired of it. And I think that people who listen to podcasts and YouTube, I think, is going to end up being a really good platform for original content, as long as they will allow people to promote their stuff. Even if you got to pay a little bit, fine. But I've never understood why it is that they You know, on television, there's these substations that show nothing but reruns, old reruns, old reruns. And in between, at the commercial breaks, are these long commercials. And on TV, you know, you can't stop that. The commercial is going to show. And yet people stick around and watch these things because those shows were really good and they're willing to wait. Besides, they have to go to the bathroom or they want to fix themselves a cup of coffee and they need a break without pushing a button. So they go, commercials, time to go to the bathroom. And they go. Or, commercial, time to get me a cup of coffee. And they go. Ooh, I need a snack. I'm going to wait for the next commercial. And yet they stick right there. I think YouTube, if they would do that sort of showing of advertising, even on accounts that don't have thousands of hours or thousands of viewers, because let me tell you something, YouTube, I hope you're listening, and others that rely on the algorithms. Well, my thought just went away. Oh, cable TV is dying. They don't know what to do. And the reason they're dying is because of the YouTubes, the Rumbles, the other streaming services, and they just pick. And for instance, you got Hulu and Netflix and this sort of thing. I'm sure that their levels of people watching, you know, subscribing and then unsubscribing go up and down all the time. Sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're lower, but they still show what they show because there's watchers. These television stations, these substations that show all these old reruns and that sort of thing, I don't know that they can figure out how many people are watching, but somebody's watching. And these people that buy ads, they buy them on there. They can get them dirt cheap. Boom. If YouTube would do that sort of thing and allow ads to show on somebody with a certain amount of videos so that they know that there's a body of work that they can show into, well, then I bet their ability to sell ads is going to go up. And then they'll make more money. And people are, and on YouTube, you know, you can skip the ad after a certain period of time, but there's others you can't skip. And it's the person who's doing the ad, the company that's doing the ad, that decides these things. So I think it's going to work out. I'll be glad when the algorithm is not the king anymore. I'm sick of it. Just absolutely sick of it. I say no to these algorithms. And I say yes to let's get back to some logical stuff with the human touch in tech. That's what we need. The human touch in tech. And that is Angela's awesome words of the day. Bye.